Hi, I'm Glenn Everett, Master of Machines. Welcome back. This episode we're at the racetrack with extreme sprint car driving experience. They tell me I'm going to drive one of these raging beasts, so sit tight and enjoy the ride. Fantastic to be here, Dale. Tell us all about extreme sprint car driving experience.
Well, firstly, Glenn, we'd like to welcome you and your crew down to Avalon Raceway and Extreme. The story behind Extreme Sprint Car Driving Experience, it's to provide an experience for motorsport enthusiasts, car enthusiasts, that was actually real. There's a lot of things in our country at the moment that purports to be a driving experience and all the rest of it, and it is to a certain degree. But, you know, cars are governed, they're road cars dressed up as something else. The main thing about what we do is that everything that you see is real. You know, the cars are approaching 900 horsepower, their current spec Maxim chassis, they're not governed. You know, a lot of people ask us, oh, how much throttle have I got? Well, you've got all of it. And we take the responsibility of giving people, you know, the right fruition and to step them up over a series of laps. So as, you know, they have a memorable experience, because at the end of the day, you know, we have the opportunity to provide people with something that lasts a lifetime. So we want to make it the best we can for them.
So basically anyone off the street can come along and drive a full-blown sprint car just like the pros do.
Yeah, it's madness, isn't it? So, some people ask me about my sanity. And bearing in mind, we see all sorts of guys show up. You know, from people that have never ever sat their backsides in a race car, to guys that race other divisions, and guys that think they might have a little bit more talent than what they really have. These things will grab your focus very quickly. The cars are all about driving with throttle control. If you try and use 900 horsepower with a car that's got an 86-inch wheelbase on a clay track, you look for that horsepower at the wrong time, it's going to do some horrible things. So, you know, we talk about being smooth driving inputs. So, you know, basically it's driver education as well.
So we're talking 900 horsepower in a car that weighs, what, 660 kilograms?
Yeah, with you in it. And a sprint runs at like, you know, 1,275 horsepower per tonne, which is greater than that of an F1 any road car ever produced. It is power that is indescribable. And when the track's on and you can actually use some of it, it gets your attention really quickly.
That's what we love.
Yeah.
So tell us about your background in racing.
I started racing a class called Hot Rods. My nickname was the Kid because I was the youngest guy out there. Fortunate enough to win a couple of state championships and point scores. A test match against the Americans, and my father raced. So there's a bit of a pedigree there. But I found through that experience that I'd seem to have a knack for nurturing talent.
So Dale, I believe I'm in for a bit of a treat today. Can you tell me about what's going to happen there?
Well, the treat is one way to describe it. It could be a shock. First things first, we're going to do a little debrief with you. We're going to get you fitted into the 1X car, which would be a car more suitable for yourself. I can tell you that little car is approaching 900 horsepower and 720 foot-pounds of torque. We're going to go for a little walk around the racetrack, and we're going to sort of discuss turning points and a few other bits and pieces. We're going to get you dressed up in the obligatory multi-layer suit, fit you into the Hans device, get all the tethers adjusted, and then we're going to go out and do some basic stuff, starting the car, because as you're probably aware, there's no starter motor, there's no clutch, there's no gears. So you need to go through the start and stop procedure. And then we're just going to run you through a set of exercises to build your confidence up, and but I'm quite sure we're going to get you cutting some really clean laps.
I just can't wait to get behind that
wheel.
Well,
some of the things you're going to notice, and I'll preempt it for you, is that the amount that you can't see, how direct the inputs are into the car, like, you know, full left lock to full right lock is 2/3 of a turn, and how once you get going, the car actually becomes easier to drive the faster you go. But it is a multi-stage process. Is to get you comfortable in the car first, being able to actuate the brake, because the cars have 3-wheel brakes, so it's a bit weird when you first launch for the first time for the brake pedal and the car wants to nosedive to the left. So we're going to step you through all that sort of stuff, do some pace laps, get you confident, debrief in between each session. We're really looking forward to having you in the car.
Can't wait.
Magnificent, mate. Yeah, magnificent.
After the break, we check out the machine I'll be driving, take a look at the racetrack, and then gear up to get behind the wheel. So Dale, I believe this is the car I'll be driving?
Yes, it is, Glenn. You're in the 1X car. We'll just run you through it a little bit. At the back, we've got a quick change diff. Car has titanium brakes. We're currently looking at the inside rear tyre, which is 15 inches wide. Over on the far side, it's 18 inches wide. So we've got a whole heap of rubber to try and help you get all the power down to the racetrack. As we move forward, we've got the full containment seat in the car. Probably one of the better safety improvements over the last few years. Then the heart of the car. 410 cubic inches, over 700 foot-pound of torque, originally based on the small block Chev, and they're just a monster, it's going to wake you up.
And 700 plus foot-pound of torque, which is absolutely monstrous. 900 horsepower. How do you hook it up on the track?
You know, a lot of it's set up. Most people freak out. We run 4 pounder there in this one, 7.5 pound over in the right rear. Car set up itself depending on the racetrack, whether it's slick or not. We'll play with wheel offsets, roll centre heights. But a lot of it is, with most sort of racing, it's also about being able to adapt as a driver. And that's where the discipline comes in.
So stepping on the throttle hardcore is not always the solution.
It is never the solution in a sprint car. We'll see guys win feature races at half throttle. They're disciplined, they hit their turn-in points. If a car comes to challenge, they'll lift the game a little bit.
So feed in the power.
It is all about feed in the power. It's all about smooth. And this is why we're so on about throttle control, nice steering inputs, great brake control, because that's how you get a sprint car around a racetrack fast. So Glenn, this is the racetrack at Avalon Raceway. You can see we've got a bit of a groove in. We've got about 20,000 litres of water on the racetrack so far. If you just glance over to your left, you'll see some battle scars in the fence. When you're driving these cars and you come out of turn 4, if you jump on the throttle too loud, the car will naturally walk up the fence. And over the years, millions of dollars of damage has been done in the same place on both straights. The other thing to be aware of too, when you come out of 4 and you're looking at turn 1, it's about 1.5 seconds to get there. You need to make the decision about 0.2 of a second off as you come off 4 to know what you're going to do coming into the next corner. This is the battleground. It's a bit like a cage match. We're enclosed now. We've got 6-metre high fences to make sure we don't send you into Laverton or the surrounding suburbs.
What sort of speed are we talking here in a well-driven sprint car around this track?
They will average like 128 kilometres an hour, which means at the end of the straight, you're probably doing 140, 145 towards a concrete wall, and we're going to tell you not to lift. And that's where we want to get you today. So as you have that confidence in yourself, the confidence in the car, mate, you're going to have the thrill of a lifetime.
Sounds awesome.
It is. Absolutely.
Bring it on!
Yeah, absolutely.
Action time.
There he is. How are you, mate? Glenn Everett, this is Warwick Taylor. Warwick, this is Glenn.
How's it going, Glenn?
Today, Glenn, Warwick's going to be your ghost driver out in the racetrack. It's an effort to fast track you into the right racing line. You'll be in the number 1 car, you'll be in the 1X car. While I'm dealing with you, getting you bolted into the race car, Warwick's going to go bolt himself into the number 1 car, and then we're into it.
Sounds good. See you out there.
See you on the racetrack, mate.
Well, we're only minutes away from hitting the racetrack, and I've got to tell you, I am very, very excited. But I've got to say, it's a very unusual space for me. I've never sat in a car like this before. It's so tight, it's so cramped. It's almost like sitting on a kitchen chair that wraps itself around you, and the pedals are directly downward, so they're not forward like a normal seating position in a normal car. But look, people have been driving these things for years and years, and they've been doing well, so I look forward to getting out there and giving it heaps. After the break, with Dale's guidance, I attempt to tame this insane 900 horsepower beast.
All right, Glenn, we've got you strapped into the car. We're just going to run through some basics. Just here we have the fuel tap. That's in the off position at the moment. We will push you off with the fuel on.
Yes.
So once you start to push off, the first thing you're going to notice is we don't have ignition lights, we don't have anything. So all we need you to focus on is the oil pressure gauge. When you see the oil pressure gauge hit 40 pound, we've got the ignition switch there. We click the ignition switch down, and you'll feel the car start to fire. Just squeeze the accelerator and you'll feel yourself pull away from the push car.
Yeah.
Now, when we go to shut the car down, it's actually locked in gear at the moment. So when you come around after we've given you the checker, all we want you to do is put a little bit of load on the drivetrain by accelerating, and then hold your hand down on the detent of the gear shift lever and push forward, and then just as you decelerate, you'll feel the car jump out of gear.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. Sounds easy, huh?
Yep.
Let's see if we can put it all into practice.
is. It's a raging, thundering beast even at this speed. Not even moving yet. Feel that, baby. We're only idling around. It's going to be a wild ride. I'm going to have to build up on this. I reckon it'll bite big time. I want to use all this power and throttle, but I can't, so I know it's too early. Easy goes it, Glenny. Take it easy, man.
Mate, that's your first time out in a sprint. They're a bit of a devil, aren't they?
Hell yeah. Mind-blowing, wild, raging beast. End of the world, all that stuff. I can't explain, I've never felt anything like it. I've driven all types of vehicles, but this thing is out of this friggin' world. But I've just got to try very, very hard to just hold myself back and not get carried away, because I reckon she'll bite.
You know, when we talk about throttle control and throttle modulation,
Yes.
you know, it's about getting yourself into that turn, getting the back end out, and just working the throttle to keep it there, and then, you know, roll into the straight and then feed the throttle in.
Yes.
You know, it's you just notice really quick when you grab another eighth of an inch of throttle, it's trying to do something. You know, like I said, you've got nearly 900 horsepower under here. With you in the car at 650 kilos, all it wants to do is go. You've got to try and control the beast.
Do you know, I would have been lucky then to have been using about 1/8 throttle. And I'm just lost for words, I tell you, it's just absolutely blown me away. I mean, to get out there, the thing shakes, it bangs, it's a wild beast just camming over, and you think you're moving, you know? You start ripping into it and, oh yeah, it's unbelievable. But that's the whole thing, it's going to take discipline, and the thing is the throttle is so light and responsive that it's not like you're pushing on a brick. So you step on that gas pedal a little bit too hard and it's going to launch you into the stratosphere.
Everything's got to be smooth, especially the throttle, you know. And when you start to go sideways, back yourself, you know, and mate, if you spin, we're going to come and get you.
Yeah! All right, let's go again. Yeah! That's it. Let's get the feel for the track. It's got some bite in it now. Don't get too confident. Yeah! That's what happens when you push too hard. But that's what it's all about, finding the limit.
They say the best way to learn is to get straight back on the horse, and up next, that's exactly what I'm going to do. was time to hone in and focus on everything Dale's telling me, and to not be lured into my desire to use all of that 900 horsepower and 700 foot-pound of torque. Session after session, lap after lap, with the guidance of the Extreme team, my driving style became not only smoother, but faster. As a direct result, the lap times started to tumble. Dale tells me that in the track's current state, a gun lap time is anywhere in the 13-second bracket. So now it's time for me to grab this raging beast by the horns, to try to tame it, and to see just how far I can go.
Come on, wheels, turn. Here we go. Woo-hoo! Yeah! Alright, I'm out of the track on my own now. Let's see what this baby and I can do. How was that? Yeah!
Smoother, faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, smoother is always faster.
Yep. I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, yeah,
There's so much more in me.
yep.
The car feels great and I'm nowhere probably near its limits now.
Mate, the throttle control then was, a vast improvement on the last run out. That was excellent. Really happy with that bit.
That last session I did, I felt so much better than any session I'd done before. I listened to Dale and he said to hold the throttle constant. Now it's so hard when you love horsepower. You want to just step on the gas pedal and you want to launch the thing and then back off. You can't do that in these things. You've got to hold the throttle consistent because as soon as you button off, it wants to point you into the fence. I'm starting to feel like I am dialing into this thing. What's going to happen now is the guys are going to put a new set of tyres on it for me, which is very generous of them. And we're going to go out and we're going to see what we can do and give this thing heaps.
A dedicated team intuition, fresh rubber, and one last session to go. This is my last chance to lay down a serious lap time. It's now or never, and I have to make it count.
Well done.
How'd it go?
What do you think your best time was? Get some here. I can tell you, it was lap 4.
13.8.
You want to guess again?
13.7. Yes! Frickin' awesome. That puts us in the game, doesn't it? I feel so much happier in the car. I feel so much more confident. I feel at home in it now. I'm ready to go racing.
Lap 4 in that last session was a 13.71, and we're on a gut slick racetrack. I don't know if you understand or not, but that puts you in the front half of a qualifying session of the World Series night here at Avalon Raceway.
Are you serious?
That's absolutely fair dinkum.
Wow.
Mate, you see plenty of guys cruising around here in the 13 seconds looking like they're setting the world on fire. Everyone's so busy concentrating and focusing on the racing, the lap times become insignificant, but the good guys are in that 13-second bracket.
Jeez, I am absolutely ecstatic.
Mate, as you should be, seriously.
Because I feel there's more in it. There's more in my driving. I'm only just starting to get dialed in. And I think I could get more cornering speed. I could use more throttle. You probably saw I was using more throttle on that last session. And to run that lap time, I am absolutely ecstatic. That's great.
You know, it's a lesson to anybody if they ever want to come dirt track racing. You know, it's about the momentum and it's about discipline. We don't say it often enough. Actually, we say it often enough, not everybody listens. Fortunately today you did.
Thanks, Dale.
Mate, not a problem. Thanks for coming down to Avalon Raceway and Extreme Sprint Car Driving Experience.
Thank you very much.
Well done, mate. Yeah.
If you thought that was wild, then be sure to check out my 4,000 horsepower nitro funny car drive. People said I was insane, but it was an opportunity I had to take. A once-in-a-lifetime drive like nothing you've ever seen before. Be sure to check it out via the link.